King Charles and Queen Camilla will soon be arriving in Kenya ahead of their 3-day tour around the country, with visits to Nairobi and Mombasa and a state dinner on the itinerary for the royals. The East African country is this year marking 60 years of independence from British rule, with the Mau Mau uprising set to be acknowledged by the king, although he has reportedly been told not to make any apologies for the brutality inflicted upon the Kenyan people during the conflict. In 2013, the UK finally expressed regret for the way Kenyans were treated during the rebellion from 1952 to 1960, but it is thought that this time the government has told Charles to avoid any more talk of paying reparations or compensation to the country. A High Court case settlement was reached which led to the UK paying out £19.9 million in damages and legal costs to 5,228 elderly victims of torture and repression. However, some feel this has still not gone far enough. Here Express.co.uk takes an in-depth look at the Mau Mau uprising, what happened, its outcome and what King Charles may say about it. Click here to join our WhatsApp community to be the first to receive news about the royal family. What happened during the Mau Mau rebellion? The Mau Mau rebellion, or uprising, was a war that broke out in Kenya, then a British colony, between the Kenya Land and Freedom Army, Mau Mau, and the British Army. Beginning in 1952, the uprising saw different native groups of Kenya come together to demand an end to colonial rule. However, the British hit back hard and were ultimately victorious in 1960. It is estimated by Kenya's Human Rights Commission that over 90,000 Kenyans were killed, tortured or maimed during the rebellion, with Kenya winning its independence in 1963. What was Britain's role in Kenya? Kenya was first colonized by Great Britain in 1901. With settlers traveling over to the East African nation due to its warm climate and natural resources. While there, the colonizers forced native farmers to work on their land and plantations, with many Kenyans now demanding reparations for the way they were treated in their own country. Experience the Express like never before. Advert-free experience without interruptions. Rocket fast speedy loading pages. Exclusive unlimited access to all our content. Start 30-day free trial. Have reparations been paid? In 2013, then Foreign Secretary William Hague announced that payments totaling £19.9 million would be the full and final settlement following a High Court case brought by 5 elderly torture victims who suffered during the rebellion in the 1950s. Over 5,000 Kenyans received money from the settlement. However, some campaigners feel this does not go far enough. There have been calls for payments to be made for land seizures and human rights abuses going right back to the beginning of the colonization period in 1901. How has Britain addressed it? At the time of the High Court action, Mr. Hague told the House of Commons, "We understand the pain and the grief felt by those who were involved in the events of emergency in Kenya. The British government recognizes that Kenyans were subjected to torture and other forms of ill treatment at the hands of the colonial administration. The British government sincerely regrets that these abuses took place and that they marred Kenya's progress to independence. Torture and ill treatment are abhorrent violations of human dignity which we unreservedly condemn." Has Britain ever apologized? Mr. Hague's comments have generally served as an apology for the abuse and execution of Kenyans during the Mau Mau rebellion, although the royal family have previously faced controversy for failing to apologize for the monarchy's role in colonialism. While in the Caribbean last year on a royal tour, Prince William and Princess Kate were criticized for reinforcing stereotypical images of colonialism. However, William did express his sorrow for the legacy of slavery despite stopping short of a full apology. What should King Charles do on his state visit? On his trip to Kenya, King Charles is expected to address the horrors of the colonial period, but he is not likely to apologize as he has been told to avoid doing so by the British government. Caroline Elkins, a Harvard professor who wrote the book Imperial Reckoning, The Untold Story of Britain's Gulag in Kenya, said the king must apologize for what happened during Mau Mau. She added, "It will probably trigger all sorts of liability issues, but at last count, the monarchy is worth over £20 billion, so you could give several quid."